Vacation plans, long commute, weekend at the cabin. Wherever you end up this summer, the Connector Idaho Daily News helps keep you connected to Idaho, even while you're away. Get the top local stories every weekday morning in just a few minutes. That's the Connector Idaho Daily News. Listen on your podcast app.
More Idaho Matters now from the studios of Boise State Public Radio News. I'm Gemma Gaudet. The Mars rovers have uncovered a treasure trove of information about the red planet, but they have one major drawback. They can only travel short distances each time they move, which limits where they can look for possible signs of life. So, what if scientists could hop from spot to spot in a flying robot, gathering information at each location? And our senior producer, Samantha Wright, is joining us now to tell us a lot more about this mission. So, Sam, take it away.
Hi, Gemma. I am going to take it away. All right. Thank you. Okay. I want to tell you about Dragonfly. It's a NASA mission. It'll send a car-sized octocopter to Saturn's moon Titan to look for life on this very mysterious ocean world. Dr. James Barnes is the deputy principal investigator for the Dragonfly mission and a University of Idaho professor. He's coming to jump in Boise on Saturday, September 26th for Interplanetary Life, the March of the Robots. And when we heard about the March of the Robots, we just had to know more. So we asked Spacepoint if they could help us out and get us in touch with some of the people involved with the missions. They connected us with Dr. Barnes, who's here now. Dr. Barnes, hi, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
And we also have Kyle Averill, the president and co-founder of Spacepoint, who's back. Hi, Kyle. How you doing?
Doing great, Samantha. Thanks for having us.
Sure thing. Jason, let's start off. Let's talk about Titan. Tell us about this moon and why it's so special.
Well, Titan is the largest moon of Saturn, and in fact, it's so big, it's the second largest moon in the solar system. It's even bigger than the planet Mercury. But I think its defining feature is its atmosphere. It's the only moon with an atmosphere, and in fact is only one of only 4 places we know of in the universe that has a solid surface and a thick atmosphere, along with Venus, Earth, and Mars.
And does it have rivers and lakes and an ocean?
In fact, it does, because its atmosphere is sort of cold enough that methane, which is natural gas, the stuff that you burn out of your stove, that stuff is actually near its liquid temperatures there on Titan. And so methane on Titan in its atmosphere can form droplets, and that those droplets make clouds that rain down and create rivers and flow down to seas of liquid methane that exist near Titan's North Pole. And this is the only other place we know of in the universe where there are rains and surface liquids and surface erosion like that. In addition, Titan also has another body of liquid. Titan, deep beneath its icy surface, has a liquid water ocean, perhaps 100 kilometers down, that forms part of its interior. So Titan is sort of a world of 2 oceans in that way.
Okay, so methane water, so to speak, on the top, and real water underneath. Is that salt water?
We don't know, but presumably it would be. Yeah, like the salts, like the oceans on Earth. Once that water has flown through enough rock, it will pick up those solutes and it will become salt water. So we would expect it to be salt water in that giant underwater or undersurface ocean. Yeah.
Gotcha. So tell us about Dragonfly. Why did you come up with this idea of a flying robot to study Titan?
Well, in addition to those amazing liquid surfaces on Titan, the air and surface and solid surface on Titan also interact to create sand dunes. And in fact, those sand dunes, sort of like the ones that we see on Earth, sort of in the Sahara Desert and the Arabian Desert. The sand dunes on Titan, though, are made of organic material, sort of derived from that atmospheric methane, so ultimately carbon-based stuff. So we really wanted to study those. And I don't know if you've ever been off-roading in sand dunes on Earth, but it's really easy to get stuck, okay? So driving in sand usually isn't a great mix. So we're trying to come up with how to move around on Titan. And because it has that atmosphere, that relatively thick atmosphere, And its gravity is sort of relatively low, similar to that on our own moon, about 7 times lower than the gravity here on the surface of the Earth. We hit upon the idea of having a rover like those Mars rovers, Perseverance and Curiosity, but instead of moving around with wheels, we would move around by flying from point to point as a quadcopter initially envisioned, and the engineers had put on an additional set of rotors, so we are now an octocopter.
I love that octocopter. That's fantastic. Okay, you mentioned basically the beaches. What are you hoping to look for with Dragonfly? Is this just to find out what's there? Is it secretly you want to find out if there's life there, or secret hope? What are you hoping that Dragonfly can do and bring back for scientists?
So our primary mission is sort of to see what happens and where that liquid water from the interior may have interacted with the organics on the surface. What's unusual about Earth here is that we have both a liquid water ocean, but also carbon-based molecules that can go to form life. And in fact, we think it's the combination of those two, presumably early in Earth's history, that ultimately led to the formation of the reproductive process that started evolution 4.5 billion years ago here on Earth. And we don't know really how that process happened, okay? It was like too long ago. But we hope that if we land on Titan, we'll be able to see areas where liquid water has interacted with organic material, and we'll be able to see what pathways that organic chemistry may have taken that may have been on the path toward leading to life, and in fact, whether that area may have been able to develop some sort of simple self-replicating molecules that may have represented a very primitive early life form.
Okay, we're speaking with Kyle Averill, the president and co-founder of SpacePoint, and Dr. Jason Barnes, the deputy principal investigator for the Dragonfly mission to Titan. Dr. Barnes will be talking about Dragonfly at JUMP in Boise on Saturday, September 26th, for SpacePoint's Interplanetary Life March of the Robots. And Kyle, I want to bring you in to tell us about the March of the Robots. What is it, and why did you want to focus on robots?
It's a great question. When you think the reason we're focused on this in general is if you look at the space industry today, the space exploration industry today, it's $1 trillion business. And, once you start researching all of the work that's going on in the industry, what interplanetary life is intended to do is really to highlight all of the tremendous research and development across that industry. And by doing so, demonstrate for those who may be making decisions about their career, demonstrate the vast array of opportunities within that industry. And it doesn't matter, at one point, NASA, of course, you had to be during the Apollo program, you had to be a test pilot, and typically serve in the military or have some military service. And now the industry has progressed so much that all you have to do now is really follow your passion, follow what you love, and then at least consider, if not point yourself towards the space industry, and you'll have a very lucrative career. So twofold in summary. One, demonstrate the amazing work. Last year we covered human space flight. This year we're covering robotic exploration, and we're bringing in 5 just unbelievably amazing leaders and visionaries in the industry to talk about 5 key missions that are ongoing today or future missions like the Dragonfly mission.
Well, and thanks to you, we here on Idaho Matters are going to talk to all 5 of those scientists. And I want to point out that March of the Robots is kind of special because not only are you going to learn about all the missions, but you get to sort of get right up and close to those scientists and find out what they're doing.
Yeah, the first hour, just as an example, there'll be many opportunities, but the first hour is meet and greet. So you can meet people like Jason Barnes face to face. So we provide that opportunity. We think networking is incredibly important, especially whether you're early career, mid-career, or even late career, but actually meet some of these people that really are leading the way for space exploration.
And Jason, I actually got a chance to meet you remotely. We talked about Dragonfly all the way back in April of 2018, and you were still waiting for the green light for the mission from NASA, and a lot has happened since then. So where are we now in the mission timeline? When does Dragonfly take off? When will it get to Titan?
Yeah, we're in a really critical phase actually right now called integration and test. We've built all the parts of the vehicle, but we need to put them all together and make sure that they're going to work together and talk to each other, and that there aren't any unexpected snafus when you connect everything together. As we've learned in the space industry, you can't go fix it after it's done, so you really need to test everything extremely thoroughly on the ground. So we're in the midst of that process right now, in anticipation of our launch, which is in 2028. In fact, it'll be July 5th, 2028 at 12:34 p.m. And why do we know when that is so precisely? Well, I mean, it's orbital mechanics, right? That's when the planets all line up. So we'll be launching out of Florida, Cape Canaveral spaceport, on a Falcon Heavy vehicle. At that time, we do have a 3-week launch period. So if there's thunderstorms in Florida in July, which is fairly probable, actually, we have one opportunity each day to make that launch. After launch, we fly for 6.5 years through the solar system, and we arrive at Titan on December 1st of 2034. So a little bit of ways away, but it seems really soon to me because we're in this really critical phase of building the vehicle.
Wow. Okay. I've got about a minute left. And Jason, I want to ask you, I remember you saying that you wanted to hopefully get to Titan before you die. Are you excited that actually looks like it's going to happen?
We're on track. You know, I've got my annual medical appointment this week, so I'll update on the other end from there. But yeah, I'm really excited. Everything is moving forward. We've been supported very strongly by by NASA and by the U.S. government in order to be able to get the vehicle off the ground and finally built. And fingers crossed, but we're doing everything we can to make this happen. And we appreciate the support of the public and the government and everyone who's helping to make it happen.
Kyle, really fast, where do people get tickets for March of the Robots?
You can go to spacepoint.org. You'll see the landing page right there, and you can get tickets right there. They're on sale right now.
Oh, well, I want to thank you both. Kyle, this is great. Jason, great good luck with the mission. I hope we get to see all the results coming back soon.
Thanks. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sam.
That was Kyle Averill, the president and co-founder of SpacePoint, and Dr. Jason Barnes, the deputy principal investigator for the Dragonfly mission to Titan. Dr. Barnes will be speaking about Dragonfly at Jump in Boise on Saturday, September 26th for SpacePoint's Interplanetary Life March of the Robots event. And our thanks to SpacePoint again for their help bringing their March of the Robots to Idaho Matters. And join us next Monday for more Space Robots.
You've been listening to the Idaho Matters podcast from Boise State Public Radio. To stay in touch, you can find quick Idaho Daily News every morning when you subscribe to the Connector podcast. If you learned something from this episode today, share it with someone else who needs to know about it.
The fatal shooting of a teenager at a protest in Seattle has gone unsolved for 6 years.
This is open in your face. How are there no answers?
Our investigation has uncovered new evidence and witnesses who say they've never talked to police.
Did police ever call you?
Not once.
Listen to We Keep Us Safe, a new true crime series on the Embedded podcast from NPR.